Luka Doncic set an NBA record for the most points in a playoff debut with 42 last night. The 21-year-old also had 9 assists and 7 rebounds to go along with a game-high 11 turnovers. His 42 points were not enough, though, to secure the win against the Clippers. So, Shannon, I start with you. Give Luka a letter grade, please.
Skip, I would have given him an A+, but I couldn't give him an A+. Well, not with those 5 turnovers in the first 3 minutes and 11. He was one off the record of 12 set in the game. I think James Harden has the record of 12 in a game. But I think it was nerves. I think he was excited, understanding that this is a very special moment, only in his second year, and here he has already carried a team into the playoffs. He was getting everything he wanted. He got to the basket anytime he wanted, and seemingly no one could stop him. So I think they're going to try to do next time, Skip, they're going to try to get the ball out of his hands and make other guys beat him like they did, you know, like they tried to do later in the ball game. But 14 of his 21 shots came in the paint. And even when he got into the paint, he was making good passes. Then, for whatever reason, guys just went cold in the second half. But had he not had those 11 turnovers, Skip, this might have been one of the great performances we could have been talking about. Because I'm not so sure they wouldn't have won that game because he had some turnovers down the stretch also that hurt this team. So I'm going to give him a B. But he would have got...
B?
I'm going to give him a B.
Wow.
I'm going to give him a B.
Wow, all of a sudden, you're the Luka lover.
Oh, baby bird.
Baby bird.
Baby bird. That's what they called him in Dallas.
Huh.
What you gonna
that's
give
what
him?
you call him.
He the closest thing. Can I get you on record? Is he the closest thing you've seen since Legend?
I can't even put him in the same breath. And I'm about to tell you why. I wrote down A- just because of the turnovers, and you went all the way to a B?
I went to a B. No.
God,
Skip,
Lord
11?
have mercy.
No, Skip, 11?
I mean, he did score 42 against 3 of the best wing defenders in the history of this league. All 3 of them together.
So you say.
So I know. I'm talking about all 3 of them. They're all 6'8"-ish, 6'7", 6'8". They're all physical. They're all grown A men.
Yeah.
They are all wily, tough. They are going to take it to you. And by the way, I didn't think he was nervous early. I just think he got attacked the way he rarely gets attacked in this league. They even sicked old little Pat Bev Bulldog on him, right?
And did
Pit bull.
did you see him late in the ball game? He cuffed it on Pat Bev.
Yeah.
Went to the rack on him.
Yeah, but he also was losing the ball. It was all up in the air and all around because Pat Bev was up into him. And I just think he got attacked by piranhas. They were coming from all angles. And it took him about 5 minutes to figure out, I got to play at a different speed tonight. You know, my body language, my RPM, everything has to go up to cope with these guys. And he bounced back. And I've told you from the start, the reason he doesn't belong in the same breath with Larry Bird, Larry Joe Bird, your favorite player growing up.
He was.
Is that he can't shoot. But last night, he figured out how to make 14 out of 15 free throws.
Yep.
So he kept them in the game by making 14 free throws to only 15 total for the whole Clippers team. Of course, Kawhi made 6 of 6 because he always makes 6 of 6. But in this case, Luka can't shoot threes because, I've told you this before, is that for the regular season, he shot 31.6%. That's horrible. He ranked 140th out of 147 three-point shooters. He was near the bottom of the barrel as a three-point shooter, and last night, he did make 2 of 6, but he shot 1 big old air ball. And he's like, my bad, my bad. Well, he shoots a lot of air balls because he's not a very good shooter. And from the free throw line, he shot 75.8%. Better than LeBron, but still not very good.
Well, LeBron ain't got nothing to do with it.
Well, he
but
has a lot to do with
LeBron might have a 40-parter, but...
Really?
But, Skip, I couldn't give him an A for the simple fact 11 turnovers, and they caught the L. Now...
Okay. And by the way, I'm going to finish on the free throw shooting. He ranked 85th of 118 free throw shooters, which is horrible.
75% ain't bad.
Look, Larry Bird could shoot the lights out.
Yeah, well, Larry was a high 80s.
He was 90. He had a couple of years where he went up plus 90 in free throw shooting. And for those who don't know, Larry Bird could shoot it back behind his head at 6'9". It was unblockable.
Oh, you special.
He couldn't leap. He couldn't rise up.
But that's the thing, though, Skip. Larry was Larry averaged double digits for his career, and he wasn't taking no balls off the rim. He was a below the rim rebounder, and he wasn't fleet of foot, just like Luka. The difference is he's one of the all-time great shooters, not only from distance but mid-range. He could get to the. You're like, man, how y'all let Larry Bird get to the rim? He ain't even going fast. The next thing you know, he laying it up on one side or coming up on the other.
But he tricked you. He just outwitted you and out-quicked you mentally, where he was a step ahead, and he would get up and lay it up off the glass or reverse lay it up. You say, how did he pull off? Well, he's a big man. He's 6'9" and probably weighed 230.
Do you think he was that heavy?
I do. He got heavier as time went on.
He did. That back, he wouldn't allow him to work out.
Okay.
But Skip, you know, his mid-range game, you know, everybody talking about with Joe. I mean, he would pump fake it like, oh, you look at, and next thing you know, he's swished it.
And he's done swished it. I agree. So Luka has none of the above. He has no mid-range. He has no jump shot to speak of. There's none. He has no real dependable three-point shot. I still don't trust him at the free throw line, but last night that was really good. That was big. That's the best I've ever seen him shoot free throws, and he was shooting them with a little more conviction than usual.
Skip, you do realize now he has 2 more years before he's at the age in which Larry entered the NBA.
Yep.
So give him 2 more years and let's see where he is, and then we'll revisit this conversation again and say, hey, you still, you know, you looking like baby.
Okay. So did anybody ever say the book on Larry Bird is we got to rough him up, beat him up, and knock him off his game? Nobody ever says that about Larry Bird because he was cold-blooded when he stepped on the floor. He's the one who's beating you up.
Skip, this was 80s basketball. And the white guys that played back then, they were tough. They would fight you. Larry would fight you, Bill and Bear would fight you. Those guys would fight. It's not like that now, Skip. You remember Larry Bird? Bill Laimbeer kept fouling Bird hard. He fouled him, and Bird just beat him, beat him on the floor.
He's going to swing on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. J, he fought.
Swung on him.
Who fought the Doc? Nobody. You ain't supposed to fight Doc. Bird said,
Bird will fight.
Yes.
Yep. He'd fight anybody.
Luke ain't wired like that, Skip.
Okay. Remember, Larry Bird at Indiana State, when they won the regional final to get to the Final Four, an Indiana State fan ran onto the floor at the end of the game. Just they were going to mob him. He turned around and decked the kid. Decked one of his own fans wearing his own colors, just decked him.
Well, you remember they beat the Lakers in a Game 7, and the fans are running on the court, and you see how he's shoving people. Get off me. And he's trying to get up out of there. He was wired different. But Skip, as far as his skill set and the things that he can do, there have been very few players that come in the league this young can do what this young man can do.
Okay, so the book on this kid is we're going after him. We're going to get physical. We're going to knock him out of his comfort zone.
Right.
And they did that early, and that's the first time in his still very young career I saw him fight back. Not fist fight back, but he fought back. He said, okay, watch this. I'm going to take you guys into the lane, and I'm not going to out-physical you in the lane. I'm just going to use my genius, and he has lane genius about him because he's a passing. Obviously, he's got that gift. And it only comes like once a generation where you have that gift.
And he's got
seeing it, feeling it, passing it.
Before it happens.
Yes, before it happens. He also is a below-the-rim rebounder with a Rodman-esque gift where he sees the carom before it happens. Like, oh, I'll be over here because I can't out-jump you, but I can screen you, and I'll just use my body, and it's going to fall right into my lap. Okay? It's the same way with his lane shots. He drives in, and you think you have him stop cold, and then all of a sudden he's Euro-stepping around you and laying up maybe just barely over the rim or off the glass. He's not going to dunk on you. He doesn't dunk on anybody. He's not going to embarrass you above the rim, but he will embarrass you below the rim because you think you got him. Kawhi thought he had him at one point last night. Jump stopped on him and thought he was dead, but he hadn't picked up his dribble yet, and the next thing Kawhi knew, he was past him.
It's good, but the difference is that he's European, and he plays, and they play a finesse style of game. Larry grew up, remember, he said, I used to go play with the brothers on the pickup in the blacktop games. It was physical out there. So he grew up in a physical game. So when he got to the NBA, and you remember in the 80s, it was all-time physical. And David Stern's like, man, we got to clean this up. This thing is getting out of hand.
I agree.
And so he grew up playing a physical style. But Luka's understanding, in order for me to reach my maximum potential, I gotta tear that book up, because the book out right now is get physical with me.
That is correct.
And then I'll turn it down. And no, I gotta turn it up, not turn it down.
Luka has the genius to understand that in the lane you can win slow.
Yes.
You can play at a slower speed as long as it's an awkward speed to try to defend because people aren't used to it. You're moving in at a pace and a rate and in ways that nobody's anticipating.
Right.
And it's like, how did you do that?
Skip, just like Manu.
Yeah.
Manu Ginobili have Derrick Rose or Russ quickness.
Yeah.
But somehow...
Listen, Manu, when he was a kid, he could jump, though. He could leap and he could slam on you.
He would definitely flush on you. But that Euro step, Skip, he could...
It's like, what? It's awkward. That? It's like, you can't do that.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Because you stand there and then he fakes it, and then next thing you know, he steps to the side, and then James Harden is just taking it to a whole different level. I mean, I don't know how he does it. He and Giannis. Mm-hmm. And so now Giannis, you're getting guys that are more athletic than Ginobili doing the Euro step. You get Giannis, that 7 foot tall, Skip. He's taking 3 steps from half court, and he's at the rim.
Yep. I never thought this kid could score that many points in the paint against those 3 or 4 defenders.
I didn't think they would let him get in the paint.
I didn't think so either. I would agree. And I think they will take it up one more level to keep him out. I don't think, because I think the Clippers are too proud, that they will try to take the ball out of his hands. I think they're a proud bunch to where Doc will say, I've got multiple defenders, and I'm not going to use 2 of them. We're going to play you straight up, but you're going to see 4 different faces during the game, maybe 5 faces. Well,
for me, Skip, I'm just going to make somebody look. I ain't trying to. I'm trying to win. I'm trying to advance, and I'm trying to do this as quick as possible. So if that means letting Tim Hardaway or Finney Smith or Kleber or Seth Curry, let them have, because I know this with this kid, Skip. He was like a top 5 scorer. He's a top rebounder, top assist guy. So I know what he's capable of doing. He might be first team All-NBA.